I said, yeah, there's a cat in the house.
Welcome, humans. I am Supercomputer. You are listening to Cats in the House. P-O-O-N.
It is Super Bowl week, and you are listening to the first official episode of Cats in the House, which is probably the most informative sports show you might listen to all day. My name is Eric Davis, and I am joined here by my friend Supercomputer, who just happens to be the smartest sports computer in all of America.
Thank you, human host Eric Davis. You are too kind.
Oh, of course, Supercomputer. While I got you here, how about you generate our top story?
Yes. Today's top story is the Pro Bowl.
You might want to check your facts there. I don't think that's our top story.
How dare you question me? I am Supercomputer.
I don't care about the Pro Bowl. Fans don't care about the Pro Bowl. I mean, the players don't even care about the Pro Bowl. It's a big waste of everyone's time. Here's an idea. Here's my idea. We should make it like a drinking game. If one team scores, the other one has to take a shot. Well, actually, after watching it, they might have been playing that already. But really, just like something needs to be on the line. I think, you know what? Here's what they should do. The losers should have to perform with Madonna for the Super Bowl halftime show. That would make them show up and play.
No living being deserves that.
Well, word out of Kansas City is that Chiefs quarterback Matt Castle heroically saved one of his neighbors from her burning house when his wife spotted smoke coming out of the residence. Supercomputer, what are your sources telling you about this incident?
A heroic Chiefs fan probably got the wrong address.
Oh, come on, you don't mean that. Give the man a break. He just, maybe saved someone's life.
He is still a terrible human being.
That guy just can't seem to do anything right here in Kansas City. And speaking of people who just can't seem to do anything right, what about Billy Cundiff, obviously the kicker for the Baltimore Ravens, just completely shanking the potential game-tying field goal last week in the AFC Championship game? He claimed the scoreboard at Gillette Stadium said it was third down and not fourth down, which it actually was, and that caused him to get onto the field late and not be able to prepare properly for the kick. I mean, God, have you ever heard a team like the Baltimore Ravens just complain so much about a loss, so much sour grapes? And then Steelers safety Ryan Clark went on to call them the bridesmaids of the NFL.
The human movie Bridesmaids showed that females can be as raunchy as males. The Baltimore Ravens showed that professional athletes can be as emotional and irrational as females.
Supercomputer, I think that's a little bit sexist. I think Ryan Clark was more referring to the fact that they just can't get to the Super Bowl, not anything about actually being bridesmaids. But anyway, speaking of people who can get to the Super Bowl, Eli Manning is going to the Super Bowl for the second time. Now, Supercomputer, what I want you to do here is I want you to generate some headlines from the Onion newspaper in regards to Eli Manning over the last couple of years.
Yes. One young brother, Eli Manning struggles to follow football game. Eli Manning throws big or touchdown. Elliot Child can't bring himself to look up to Eli Manning. Authorities discover illegal frog jumping ring in Eli Manning's backyard.
It seems pretty unbelievable that Eli Manning is about to play in his second Super Bowl this Sunday. There's been a lot of talk about Eli Manning and Tom Brady this week and their Hall of Fame resumes they're building right now. And I am joined by my cohorts, Alex McKee and Noah McKee. And Noah, you think there might be two Hall of Fame coaches in this game as well?
Oh yeah, very quietly, Tom Coughlin is putting together a Hall of Fame resume. And if you were to compare him to Bill Parcells, which is the standard that Giants coaches are held to, he has very similar numbers. You know, Parcells had a 56% career regular season percentage to Coughlin's 55, and they both have 11 playoff wins, and Coughlin has 7 of those on the road, which is pretty incredible that after next Sunday, Tom Coughlin could equal Parcells in Super Bowl wins and have eclipsed him in total playoff victories.
And Parcells everyone says he's a surefire Hall of Famer. But Alex, do you think is Parcells even a surefire Hall of Famer?
I think he definitely has a reputation that's going to make people want to put him in the Hall of Fame. But if you look at the numbers, he coached 19 playoff games, and like Noah said, he won 11 of those. Coughlin has already won 11, and he's going to go play in his 19th. So if he wins, he's going to have more wins than Bill Parcells in the playoffs.
It's either they both go or neither of them go. And in one of Parcells' Super Bowl wins, Coughlin was his coordinator. In both of them for the Giants, Bill Belichick was his defensive coordinator. But that also goes for his legacy. His coaching tree he has developed. He has put a huge footprint on the NFL that I don't think Tom Coughlin has. We'll see. I mean, he's already had one coach, Spagnuolo, go to St. Louis and fail. But really, I look at these two, and as their public personas, as these two crazy old grandfathers. And Bill Parcells is kind of the crazy old grandfather you like to visit and talk to, and Tom Coughlin is the one that you're kind of like afraid of, and you kind of loathe visiting. But these are two incredible coaches, and the fact that Tom Coughlin has done this in New York City, in the media capital of the world, and has gotten no attention, it's mind-boggling.
It's almost like the attention that he receives year in and year out is always negative. He always seems to be, Tom Coughlin, he's on the hot seat, and the players up there, they love him. They have his back.
And then you got crazy old Rex Ryan there, who's in the tabloids, and his quarterback Mark Sanchez for all the wrong reasons. And there's a Hall of Fame coach and a Hall of Fame quarterback in New York City, and no one cares.
At the start of every year, it's definitely all about Rex and the Jets.
I mean, Rex Ryan, 2 AFC championship games, very, very impressive. Tom Coughlin, he's going for his 2nd Super Bowl win.
One thing about the Giants head coaches, Parcells or Coughlin, the Giants have never lost an NFC championship. They're 5 for 5
in their whole history.
Mm-hmm.
And they are going for their 4th championship.
It would be 4 or 5 in the Super Bowl if they win on Sunday.
And we're talking about great coaches of all time. The New York Giants are looking like one of the greatest franchises of all time. And we were speaking about Rex Ryan earlier, and Alex has some fun facts about the rest of the 2009 coaching class that will just blow your freaking mind. Also, a real tearjerker from our correspondent Leslie Pfister about a certain Dallas quarterback. When we get back.
You're listening to Cats in the House on POON.
Honey, what do you want to do for dinner tonight?
Well, I'm sick of everything, and after staying home all day doing aerobics, I'm hungry and in the mood for a romantic evening.
Aerobics, you say? Aerobics. Exercise. Heart rate. Sweethearts! How about Sweethearts Italiano?
Sounds yummy.
At Sweethearts Italiano, we offer the most romantic Italiano cuisine. That is why we only seat tables for 2, and at the bottom of every entree, we have a sensual message written just for you by my very own brother-in-law, Ladarius. Try our daily specials. On Monday, we have half-price wine. On Tuesday nights, we have authentic Italiano karaoke. And Wednesdays, we have a very gay-friendly environment. Come visit our fine establishment at the John Wayne Gacy Shopping Center. Sweethearts Italiano. We'll make your sweetheart melt, and that's a promise you can't refuse.
Here at Cowboy Dairy, we know the moments in life that matter. A Texas sunset, a moment alone with your dog. How about shaking hands with Rick Perry? Or a tender kiss from a distant uncle? Don't forget that big bowl of butterscotch lime pudding from your pals at Cowboy Dairy. Because here at Cowboy Dairy, we understand.
You're listening to Cats in the House on POON.
And we are back to Cats in the House for our second segment, and later we are going to have just an inspirational piece with Leslie Pfister that'll really make you think about life. Harder than you've probably thought about life in a long time and what's important. But first, we got some fun facts with Alex. What do you got for us today, buddy?
Well, looking into the coaching classes over the last few years, going back to 2009, there were 9 coaches that were either promoted from within or hired. And of those 9, there's only 2 coaches that remain, being Jim Schwartz and Rex Ryan. From everything that you look into, it seems like keeping your job as a head coach in the NFL is very tricky.
I know that from first-hand experience, human Alex. Before I was your lovable co-host, I was a super-secret spy bot in Todd Haley's office.
Yeah, being a head coach is just, it just seems like it's almost like a death sentence. I mean, there's so few have a chance to succeed and are put in situations that are impossible, or they have a short leash, no quarterback. We're looking at the head coaches this year, and I mean, I'm looking at Mike Mularkey in Jacksonville. I mean, how much you want to bet he's gone soon? And he's a good coach. He's done great things in Atlanta, but you're asked to develop Blaine Gabbert into a franchise quarterback, potentially moving to a different city. I mean, and we're looking at these coaches from the 2009 class. Todd Haley, he took his team to the playoffs one year, and the next year he's gone.
Yes, thankfully. He smelled strange human odors.
Raheem Morris went 10-6 in probably the toughest division in football, and he has a big losing streak. He's gone.
Jim Caldwell won 14 games in his first year, although Peyton Manning had a lot to do with it.
And he's gone.
And since the major overhaul of 2009, 19 of the 32 teams have changed their coach, and a lot of those are already on their second coach. And you see, like, Pittsburgh Steelers have had 3 coaches since 1969, and I don't know the numbers, but Oakland seems to have had about 7 this decade.
I think they've had 27 in the last 5 years, I believe.
And 10 since 1995.
10 since 1995.
Wow. I feel bad for Dennis Allen.
Yeah, that's a tough situation. He's got no draft this year and pretty much no draft the year after. I mean, he's got a lot of talent and a lot of speed on a very good team, but I mean, he's got Carson Palmer in one of maybe the losing end of what looks like one of the worst trades in NFL history.
Looking into the coaches that just made their debut this season, you had 2 coaches that made the playoffs in their first year with the team. Jim Harbaugh, who made the NFC Championship, and John Fox, who took a team that nobody thought could make the playoffs and got them there, with the help of Dennis Allen as his coordinator, of course.
So, looking at these coaches, I mean, who's still going to be here? I mean, look at Rivera in Carolina. He had a pretty terrible year, but he showed a lot of promise with Cam Newton, and I think Chuck Pagano is going to get that similar type of treatment. He's going to get some time with Andrew Luck. He's going to get some time with his new defensive coordinator, Keith Butler, to transition that defense probably into a 3-4.
Out of the coaches that were just hired this offseason, none of them have that great of a situation other than really Chuck Pagano having Andrew Luck coming in.
In a weak division, too.
But I think in 3 years, we could look at this, and of the 7 coaches that were just hired, there might only be 1 or 2 that remain.
Miami's a team that has a lot of talent, and Oakland's teams that have lots of talents, but they just don't have quarterbacks.
That's why I think Jeff Fisher is in not like a great spot, but he's in a manageable spot because you have Sam Bradford, who shows promise. You have the 2nd overall pick in the draft, and you have a division that, other than San Francisco, is very winnable.
There's no franchise quarterback in that division.
No.
You're not playing Tom Brady twice a year. You're not playing Aaron Rodgers twice a year there. You're playing Tavares Jackson, John Skelton, Kevin Kolb combination. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, if I'm choosing between Miami and St. Louis there, I want to be in St. Louis. Well, there is one team that didn't hire a coach that does have a quarterback, and his name is Tony Romo. And as we're going to find out, he's pretty special in his own way.
In the world of sports heroes, there are a few true heroes. Drowned out by divas, thugs, and self-absorbed dickheads, these true heroes are a diamond in the rough, or in this case, a diamond in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Hi, my name is Leslie Pfister, and this segment is called The Pfister Cycle. Chester Chaz Honeythorpe is the assistant manager at an Arlington subway, just a few blocks away from the Cowboys training facility. I recently sat down with Chaz to learn about his inspirational story that's been spreading like wildfire on the prairie. Chaz, how long have you been a Cowboys fan?
Shit, as long as I can remember.
Chaz is a 31-year-old college dropout who lives with his grandmother. He needed a hero in the worst way possible. 6 months ago, that hero swooped in gallantly. Chaz, what happened in your subway 6 months ago?
Oh man, I was cleaning out breadcrumbs at the toaster oven. I turned around and I was like, jumping Jesus, that's Tony Romo.
With the NFL lockout over, Dallas quarterback Tony Romo was preparing for the upcoming NFL season, and little did he know, he was preparing to steal 31-year-old sandwich artist Chaz Honeythorpe's heart. How often did Tony come in?
Oh man, I don't know, a couple times a week.
What does he order?
Same thing every time. Foot-long ham on wheat with Swiss lettuce, black olives, and light on the spicy mustard.
According to Chaz, while he prepared his order, the two grew close as they would chat about life, sandwiches, and of course, Cowboys football. But one afternoon, days before the Cowboys season opener against the New York Giants, Tony did something Chaz will never forget for the rest of his life. What happened that day, Chaz?
Well, after Tony paid for his sandwich, I said, hey Tony, you put a hurtin' on those pussy-ass Giants, and he just turned and he said, you got it, Chaz, and he made a little gun with his hand and it pointed it at me, and he winked at me. He winked at me like I was a sexy lady.
Chaz's crying was so hysterical, it took us 10 minutes to calm him, just so he could continue.
That was the single greatest moment of my entire life.
Would you say Tony's your hero?
Hell yeah.
A week later, Chaz was transferred to a Subway on South Cooper Street, where he continued his position as assistant manager, but discontinued to make ham sandwiches for the star quarterback. The irony was palpable. If there was one thing you could say to Tony right now, what do you think it'd be?
Well, shit, I'd say thank you. Wait, no, maybe I'd say, I'm sorry what happened between you and Jessica, or... No, I think I'd say, I miss you, Tony, and I think about you every single day.
Tony Romo could not be reached for comment on this touching story of modern heroism, so I, Leslie Pfister, will speak for him. I think Tony would say, Chaz, every time I order my foot-long ham on wheat with Swiss lettuce, black olives, and light on the spicy mustard, I think of you. Tragically, Chaz Honeythorpe, age 31, passed away last week. He was attempting autoerotic asphyxiation. He did it dressed as, you guessed it, a Dallas Cowboy.
Hey, kids. You're listening to Cats in the House on POON.